So we got Mike Vrabel. We got the Patriots. I'm a Patriots fan, low key. Not even low key, high key. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a Patriots fan. That being said, it looks like the Patriots is back to cheating. And if the Patriots is back to cheating, that means we going back to the Super Bowl. Shit, you gotta get it how you get it, man.
You know who lets me know my marriage is falling apart? My mom. We've signed up for this, and we're getting divorced at the end of the year.
Stop. Breaking news.
Don't say that.
It's hard.
It seems like every single time I tell you guys that I'm not going to make a video about a particular topic for a very long period of time, I make a follow-up video on that topic like 5 days later. The reason for this video is because a lot of you guys have been blowing up my DMs asking me to make a follow-up on this situation because so much has dropped since our part 3 on this. So if you guys didn't know, 10 days ago, page 6 dropped photos. We made a video. 5 days ago, Diana Rossini resigned from The Athletic, and we made another video. And in the last 3 videos, I've been telling you that the story we could see on the surface, the photos, the statements, the investigation, the resignation, that was videos. I've been telling you that the
I just
story
gotta
we could see on the surface, the photos, the
Oh shit, fuck it. I just wanted to stop at the photos. The photos is kind of crazy, bruh. Like just a little crazy.
surface, the photo.
Like, bro, this is the NFL insider and NFL coach on the team that just went to the Super Bowl. We talking just left the Super Bowl hangover shirt on and everything. And got his little bitty with him. Little bitty that know everything about every NFL team, even the Chiefs to the Bills. Know it all. And I'm so thankful for that. He's smart.
Statements, the investigation, the resignation, that wasn't even the full story.
Diana.
There was something underneath all of this that hadn't come out yet. And I had my own theories about what was going down. And, well, we just got a bunch of new facts. ESPN just published a full investigative piece by a reporter named Ben Strauss. This was sourced from a dozen people with direct knowledge of how the last 10 days played out behind the scenes. And what the piece reveals is that Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel coordinated their statements before even talking to page 6. Diana Rossini hired a crisis communications expert before the photos were even published. Not only that, but she went over the Athletic's head and appealed directly to the CEO of the entire New York Times company. The Athletic asked her for basic evidence that her group of 6 friends story.
She did a lot of things she was not supposed to do. If she's trying to jump the gun like that, if she said her team to clean up the mess before it even hit, you know what I'm saying? Like, she told everybody leave shore before the tsunami come. She knows a big wave of things, or she's just sweeping a lot of things under the rug, shall I say.
True. And honestly, anything would have worked here. Text messages, trip planning screenshots, photos from a hike that she claims that she was on, and Diana was never able to provide any of this. That's what led to her resignation. This is the full behind the scenes story. This is what was actually happening while you and I were watching the public version of this play out in real time. So if you want to make sure you get the
gotta sign Mahomes jersey,
throughout
bro.
the offseason, whether it's draft rumors or wacky stories like this, make sure you're subscribed and have my notifications on, and we also post
Move your head,
versions
bruh.
of this content on my Instagram page and my TikTok page. Now that we get all that out of the way, let's get
That's
to
fire.
today's video. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? If you haven't seen our other 3 videos on this, I highly recommend you take a look at them because this is just very entertaining content. But I'll give you the speed summary for anyone that's new to this story. 10 days ago, page 6 published photos of Mike Vrabel, who is the New England Patriots head coach, and the Athletics senior.
I love how nobody would have cared if it was like the Browns. Like if the head coach of the Browns was with this lady right here, nobody would care. Nobody would care. They would just think they was dead. They wouldn't even bat an eye at it. You'd have some people deep in the webs that have the theory and whatnot, but like in the grand scheme of things, even NFL players would be like, "Oh, who cares? What they gonna do about it?" But because it's the Patriots, they gonna make a big fuss about it.
insider Diana Rossini at a luxury resort in Sedona on March 28th. Now, this isn't any
Man,
luxury
that place
resort.
look
This
crazy.
is an Ambiente
Whoa.
resort. It's kind of marketed as a more romantic getaway type of spot. And they were
Bro, rich people just be having a lot of things to their ambiance, to their access that we just don't have, bruh. That stuff look like something from straight out the movie. It's like in the middle of the Grand Canyon. Imagine you took a girl to the middle of the Grand Canyon. Nobody out there. You know nobody out there. And you still get caught. I'd be pissed. Ain't no way. You was supposed to get caught. Somebody
they were
knew.
holding hands,
She
they
told
were
somebody.
hugging,
Somebody
they were
snitching, bro.
dancing. Both of these individuals are married.
Like,
Their
what?
defense was that they were part of a group of 6 friends. 3 witnesses contradicted that. This became even more interesting because Rossini was the primary source on the A.J. Brown to Patriots trade story all off season. So the Athletic
Yeah,
investigated.
Brown
the
to
New
the
York
Pats.
Times sidelined her, and then Rossini
Patriots back to
resigned.
the Super
That's
Bowl,
parts
man.
1 through 3. If you haven't watched them, I'm gonna link them all in the end screen for you guys. Everything I'm about to tell you
Easy
is
money.
what happened behind the curtain. All right, so here's the single most important new fact in this entire story, and it completely rewrites everything we thought of 10 days ago. Per
Sheesh.
ESPN's Ben Strauss, sourcing from a person with direct knowledge of the communication, Diana Rossini coordinated with Mike Vrabel about how to
I be feeling bad for like the husbands of like these type A type women that like like they climb their way up to the top and whatnot. And then like they got like this their husband that was there for them from the start. And then they low key got the ick. The dude that was there from the start give her the ick. But, so she going for the NFL coach at the profession, the work hubby. Sheesh. And he just getting hit with all the shrapnel from all the fallout. And she just blew up a bomb and he just over there, boom, just chill. That's crazy.
onto the
That's
Page Six story
crazy.
before either
Hey, but he about to get paid though.
gave their statements to the Post. Let me tell you what
Oh,
that
so you
means.
about to
The
get
full
paid,
weight
what?
of It didn't really hit me until I read it for
Oh,
a second time.
shit.
When Mike Vrabel told Page Six that the photos showed a completely innocent interaction and that any suggestion otherwise was laughable, that wasn't Mike Vrabel just giving a spontaneous response. That was a coordinated statement. When Diana Rossini told Page Six that the photos didn't represent the group of 6 people who were hanging out during the day, that wasn't a reporter defending herself off of a
shit, I'm
cliff.
crying.
That was also a coordinated statement. Diana Rossini and Mike
Yeah, you
Vrabel
gonna
got
go
on the
up
phone
anyways.
and talked about what to say, and then they
Yeah,
both
what's up,
said
homie?
their version of
How
the
you doing?
same thing to the same outlet. Now, I want you to think about why that matters beyond just looking bad. Diana Rossini was, at the time of those statements, a senior NFL insider at The Athletic, which is owned by the New York Times. The New York Times has an ethics policy. That ethics policy says, and I'm reading this directly, relationships with source require sound judgment to
What's up,
prevent the
man?
fact or appearance of
Bro, Mozart. Okay. Well, we're gonna use this as a talking point. Hey, bro, move. Look at bro. He over there cheesing. Cheesing like what, man? Bro, he thought he was the slickest guy ever. I already know. What? Her too.
reality. It is essential.
That is crazy. Both of them married too, I think. But I work hubby work wife thing get hectic. What? Y'all doing the interview together? No, y'all porking is crazy. Crazy
Preserve
work.
A detachment, free of any whiff of bias.
And we all know how the New York Times is notorious for not being biased.
But that aside, a whiff of bias is the standard. At least that's what they claim. And what did Diana Rossini do? She called the head coach she was actively covering, the same head coach whose team's trade negotiations she had been publicly reporting on for the last month. And then she coordinated with them on how to manage a crisis that involved both of them. That is not a whiff of bias. That's a full-blown entanglement between a reporter and their source, playing out in real time, in the middle of a story that was was about to go public. And remember, when we covered this in part 1, I pointed the fact that Diana Rossini accidentally revealed that Mike Vrabel was a point of contact for her. And she used the word sources in her defense. She said reporters interact with sources away from stadiums.
Sources is crazy when you got the main source. Like, you talking to the plug. You know everything, shawty. You talking to El Chapo himself. Talk about some sources. You know everything.
Time that the word source was doing all the heavy lifting in that sentence. Now we know she wasn't just interacting with the source, she was coordinating a PR strategy with the source. Mike Florio made the point as soon as the Strauss piece dropped, working with Vrabel to coordinate their stories creates a whiff of bias at minimum. And honestly, I think Mike Florio is being generous here. I think it does a lot more than create a whiff. I think it confirms exactly what this channel has been asking about since part 1, which is how close was this relationship, and how much of the reporting that came out of it was journalism versus narrative management. Now let me take you behind the curtain even further. We are
let's
just
go.
at the tip of the iceberg, guys.
Let's go.
So get ready and buckle up, because the ESPN piece doesn't just tell you that Rossini coordinated with Vrabel. It tells you the full sequence
Bro, hold
of
up,
what
bro.
happened before the.
This is
that came out
crazy.
of it was
Look how she
journalism
looking at
versus
him, bruh.
narrative management.
What?
Now let me take you behind the curtain even further. We are just at the tip of the iceberg, guys, so get ready and buckle up, because the ESPN
Bro, look how she looking at, bruh.
doesn't just tell you that Rossini coordinated with Vrabel.
Look at this. Bro, what? Like, I never seen any of these interviews, but like, she's, I don't know. Sometimes I be looking at some interviewers, the way they be looking at the players, it does look a little more intense than usual. And this is one of those instances, you know what I'm saying? Like she looks very, very happy to be there.
Tells you the full sequence
And he
of what
blushing
happened
and shit.
before the photos were even published, and it reads like a crisis management playbook. Per Strauss, this whole thing started on Easter Sunday. A New York Post reporter physically showed up at Rossini's home in Bergen County, New Jersey, and told her the outlet had photographs of her with Mike Vrabel at the Ambiente Resort. That's how she found out. A reporter on her doorstep on Easter. Now here's what she did next.
Bro, that famous life is hectic, bruh. They just be coming to your door with the blackmail. Not even blackmail. They just letting you know we got a hit piece on you, and we're gonna drop it. So I don't know. Go talk to your therapist, lady. Or cool your nerves. Relax yourself. We're gonna shit on you.
This is a detail that changed the entire story for me. According to Strauss, sourced from a person with knowledge of the call, Rossini was on the phone that same day with a crisis communications expert, strategizing how to respond to the story before it was even published. A crisis communications expert, not her editor, not the Athletics PR department, a professional crisis manager. The kind of person you hire when you know the story that's about to come out is going to be really, really bad. The kind of person that companies hire when a CEO gets caught doing something that they simply shouldn't be. The kind of person that athletes hire when a criminal investigation is about to go public. That is who Diana Rossini called on Easter Sunday before a single photo had been published. And I want to hold that detail up against two things. First, her statement. The statement that she and Vrabel coordinated. The one that says the photo showed a completely innocent interaction, and that any suggestion of—
Bro, he just finished cracking that joint. What? Bro, the hoodie joints with the messed up hair in the morning breakfast? Come on, bro.
was laughable. If the interaction was completely
Definitely
innocent,
cracked
why
that
did you
joint.
need a crisis communications expert to help her say so? Innocent people who are hanging out with a group of 6 friends on a hiking trip do not need to call crisis managers. They call their editor and say, "This is nothing. Here's what happened." The crisis call tells you that she knew on Easter Sunday that the photos did not look innocent, regardless of what they actually were. And the really funny part about this is there's been this running joke on social media about Diana Rossini's PR.
Man, they sending things to the shadow realm. Just gobbling things up. Like, cuz for me, Yasha with the black hole in his head, they just suck just making everything disappear.
Working overtime
Like,
for her.
what?
The reason why why this is coming out is that 2 days after resigning from The Athletic, Diana Russini was driving through Wickoff, New Jersey, her hometown, and she witnessed a car accident. A 17-year-old in a Honda Civic turned onto a street and collided with a Jeep, flipping the Jeep onto its side. Her page 6, yes, the same page 6, Russini pulled over, had a bystander lift her on top of the overturned Jeep, opened the door herself, and helped pull out the driver and his dog out of the wreck. The driver was taken to the hospital for head and shoulder injuries, and the dog was fine. Now, why am I telling you this? One is because I think the jokes about this on social media are hysterical.
This is bullcrap.
It seems like nobody believes that she actually did this, and
This is
this
bullcrap. Talk about some her rich self about to go into a car accident scene and help the people up out of there. She even helped the dog. Who's about to believe that? And mess up her nails? Like what?
The funny part about this is she hired a PR team and a crisis management team, and immediately this story gets put out. But if you choose to believe her story, it definitely humanizes her. This is a real person living a real life. The same woman who was caught at the Ambiente Resort at Lake Vrabel, potentially doing some shady stuff, pulled over 20 days later and climbed on top of a flipped Jeep to help a stranger and his dog. Both of those things could be true at the same time. If I'm gonna hold people accountable for things that they did wrong, I should also tell you about the things that they do right. That's just how this works. Here's the next layer, and this one is about desperation, because once the story
lift the man out the car.
Building, Diana Russini didn't just work the phones with Mike Vrabel and a crisis manager. Per ESPN, sourced from 5 separate people with knowledge of the
I'm not saying there's not like girls that could do that. There's obviously a woman that could do that with no problem. But I'm just saying the coincidence of this happening and it not being like trending is strange to say the least. But who knows?
Russini appealed directly to Meredith Kopit-Levian, the chief executive officer of the entire New York Times company, to plead her case. Think about the shame of command that represents, guys. Russini's direct boss is Steven Ginsburg,
rich people be looking weird, dog.
The Athletic. Above Ginsburg is the Athletic's management structure. Above that is the New York Times management structure. Above all of that is the CEO. Russini skipped every single person in between and went straight to the top. She bypassed Ginsburg. She bypassed everybody at The Athletic. She called the CEO of the company that owns the company that employs her. That's not what you do when you
But I knew she was trying to sweep things under the rug, man. She seen the tsunami wave that was coming. And, hey, she's trying to get everybody to shore or away from the ocean, to say the least. But you can't stop the rain, baby. It's coming.
That's what you do when you think the people between you and the CEO are not going to give you the answer that you want. That is an act of desperation. It's the corporate equivalent of throwing a Hail Mary into the end zone because the clock is about to hit 0. And it didn't work. The CEO did not stop the investigation.
Can't stop the rain.
Continued, and Russini resigned before it concluded.
Damn.
Alright, so this is the section that I believe is the most devastating of the entire ESPN piece, and it's honestly the reason I made this video, because it closes the book on Diana Russini's defense forever. Per Strauss, sourced from 3 people with knowledge of the conversations, after The Athletic initially defended Russini publicly and then reversed course under internal pressure, their executive sat down and asked her for basic evidence to support her version of events. And the kinds of evidence that they asked for were not that complicated. I mean, it was very basic stuff. They asked for text messages about an airport pickup. They asked for screenshots of trip planning. They asked for photos from the hike she said she was on with 2 female friends. And guys, this is entry level stuff. I know you guys roasted me for this on Instagram last year when I took my Euro trip, and I guess rightfully so. But when you're on vacation with your friends, you're taking a lot of photos. I'm taking a decent amount of photos, and I'm a dude. And we all know the ladies love to take photos.
She got photos, she's just not showing them. It's not for the public.
With your female friends, and you
not safe for work.
Photos of the hike that you were on. I mean, it's very simple to prove this stuff. You could pull out the trip group chat. I know every time my buddies and I are planning a trip, there's a group chat that's automatically made. You could show them the Uber receipt from the airport. You can show them photos from the hike. This takes 30 seconds, guys. And Russini never provided sufficient.
Man, they should have left the country. They should have went to like Greece or some shit. I don't know. Sweden. You feel me? I don't know where rich people go. Bali or something, bro. Like, what, you cheating in the States? Y'all both famous and married. You cheating in the States?
evidence. That's not me saying it. That's ESPN citing 3 people with knowledge of the conversations, reporting that the Athletics executives asked for proof of the group of 6 story and Rossini did not deliver it. She either could not prove it or she chose not to. Either way, the central defense she built her entire public response around, the claim that these photos didn't represent the group of 6 people who were hanging out during the day, was never substantiated by even the most
As long as they work, man.
documentary evidence when her own employer asked for it. And here's what happened next. Per Strauss, Rossini
I ain't tired,
argued to
though.
her
I'm never
employers
tired.
that the photos amounted to a sexist attack on a female reporter.
Oh, there they go. Pulling the sexist card, the misogyny card.
Male-dominated field. Bro, come on, Diana. That's like
Oh,
the
shit,
last
I'm
card
crying.
that you're gonna pull when you're very, very desperate. It's like, yeah, you caught me in what allegedly looks like an affair with the defending AFC champions head coach at a romantic resort in Sedona, and I can't prove that I was with anyone else other than Mike Vrabel. I resign as a result of this, and
This is all because I'm a woman!
Yeah, I'm so happy that like this thing, whatever that is, keeps happening. And, like that's happened ever since like we was like in kindergarten, bruh. Like I remember when I was a kid, bro. Like I remember like a girl would hit me or something, bro. And then I didn't hit him back or nothing, bro. I just be like, then they run to the teacher and tell them that you did something wrong or you did this. You hit them. No, you ain't did nothing. They start fake crying. Now you in trouble. Now you in timeout. You feel, that really happened to me before. My girl real life socked me. Then they started crying, ran to the teacher and told them that I hit them and I really went. I was in timeout. I was crying, but man, what? I was crying that day. I ain't go to recess for like a week. It's crazy. Crazy,
really?
bro.
That's what we're doing here? I wanted to say before this, like, if you go back to my first video, the way I was hyping up Diana Rossini and my respect for her reporting, this isn't just some Joe Schmo with a Twitter
Damn,
account.
homie,
This
your
is
hair is
Diana
insane.
freaking
What's going
Rossini.
on
This
with
isn't some beat reporter. Diana Rossini is not a blogger. She's not someone who just covers one team. When Rossini reports something about an NFL
Bro, she
team,
is the top dog. The Dong Bino. What? She the Dong Bino when it comes to this reporter. And I'm so happy he got close and personal with her. Because as a Patriots fan, this could only be beneficial. It could only be beneficial. Man.
the market. Her tweets get aggregated by every other outlet within minutes. You turn on your post notifications on X for this woman. She also offered to let the Athletics speak directly to Mike Vrabel, essentially saying, call him and he'll vouch for me, and the company declined. Because obviously Mike Vrabel would vouch for you. He has an ulterior motive here. Well, you think Mike Vrabel is having comfortable conversations with his wife right now? Allegations or not, it's a bad look, and it puts him in a bad situation. It's to his benefit for Diana Rossini to look innocent here. I want to be fair about the gender piece about all this, because I said in part 2 that Jeff Pearlman's argument about a double standard has some truth to it, and I still think that's the case. There are absolutely people on the internet who are treating Diana Rossini worse than they would treat a male reporter in the same situation. That's real, it's ugly, and it shouldn't be happening. But there's a difference between an outside...
But what male reporter gonna be in this situation? There's no female NFL coach that, unless a male reporter was to get into it with like the Colts' owner, that's like one of those, you know, like type A woman that's killing it. You know what I'm saying? If they was to get under her wing and to mess with her, then I guess that would be legitimate and a parallel of this. But in reality, if you're not messing with like a owner or something, like what woman in the NFL is as compromisable as like someone like Mike Vrabel? Like it's parallel, like or comparable. I'm just saying, maybe the WNBA. Okay, we talking WNBA. Okay, then you got a lot of merit. You got a lot of ground. Like if you over here porking Caitlin Clark is coach and shit, yeah, you gonna know a lot of things about that organization. that you probably shouldn't know.
Pointing out a gender double standard, which is a fair observation, and a reporter who is being asked for evidence by her own employer, deploying the gender argument as a defense strategy instead of just producing the evidence. Those are not the same thing, and the timeline here is important, guys. She was asked for proof. She couldn't provide proof, so The Athletic investigated. She said that was sexist, so The Athletic investigated anyway, and then she resigned because she didn't want the truth to come out. There's one more layer of the ESPN.
Bruh, that's so crazy. How you gonna cheat on your husband, bruh? Cheat with another married man. Then you, plus on top of it, you in the States. You famous. You know you famous. You know he famous too. That's not no Joe Schmo. Like what? He was just in the Super Bowl with a Rolex on. So then, mind you, you get caught. I could only imagine how your husband feel. He lost his rich wife. Y'all probably got kids together. And he found out you was cheating. You flew out in the States and stuff with a work hubby. World falling, crashing down on top of him. And then he got to hear, this is sexist. Bruh.
The Athletic flipped from defending Rossini on Tuesday to investigating her by Friday, and it's a layer that's about the reporters inside the building, not the executives. According to Strauss, The Athletic initially defended Rossini publicly, but subsequently faced internal outrage from employees several times, and Athletic staffers told ESPN about the backlash. The reporters inside the newsroom, the people who work alongside Rossini every day, pushed back on Ginsburg's public defense. Ginsburg himself acknowledged this after the resignation. In a note to staff, he said, when this situation was brought to our attention last week, there were clear concerns, but we received a detailed explanation and it was our instinct to support and defend a colleague while we continue to review the matter. As additional information emerged, new questions were raised that became part of our investigation. There are two things to take away from that. One, Ginsburg is publicly acknowledging that his initial statement defending Rossini, the one where he called her a premier journalist and said the photos were misleading and lacking essential context, was made before he had all the information. He's telling his own staff that the explanation he received from Rossini initially was convincing enough to issue a public defense. That new information changed everything. Two, the review of Rossini's work will continue even though she's already resigned. They're going to look at her coverage. They're going to look at her relationship with Vrabel, and they're going to do it without her participation because she left before it concluded. And one more thing worth mentioning about the media.
Yeah, she's cooked. She's cooked. She better hope they don't sue her ass. What?
Scott Zolak, the Patriots broadcast analyst, became one of the only people inside the Patriots organization to address it publicly, but he barely said anything. His key line was, I know Mike, I know Mike's wife, and then he said he likes his job too much to say anymore. Meanwhile, USA Today Sports...
Man, we are happy that happened. I mean, not we. I'm not in the organization or anything. But as a Patriots fan, I'm not mad that he got in close with an NFL insider that knows about all 32 NFL teams and their plans and what they want to do. I mean, no, I'm not mad. It's cool.
The NFL freelancer Chrissy Ford for her reaction to Rossini's departure. So we're now at a point where people are losing their jobs just for talking about this story the wrong way. That's the chill effect, and it's exactly why the mainstream media outlets that Rossini accused of...
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. People shouldn't lose their jobs because these two people chose to do what they did. That's insane. For like the fallout for They just wanted a reason to fire her ass. If they fired her because she spoke out about the issue, they just wanted a reason to let go of her, because that's crazy.
Eating speculation. I've been so careful about covering this because the consequences are real, not just for Rossini and Vrabel. Please, YouTube, don't strike this down. Please, YouTube, don't strike this down. Please don't strike this down. We worked really hard on these videos. All right, let me zoom all the way out because we are now 4 videos deep into this story, and I honestly can't believe it. I can't believe the most dense video topic of the offseason so far is this story. I know you guys love it, and I want to tell you guys what the full picture looks like now that ESPN filled in the gaps for us because I find it fascinating. So in order, here's what we now know happened. Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel spent a Saturday at an adults-only luxury resort in Sedona,
sweet
Arizona.
too.
3 witnesses say that they were alone. Their own friends who were sent to vouch for of them could not be seen by anybody at the hotel. The rooftop where they were photographed dancing is accessible only from the bungalow itself. The next day, they both showed up at the NFL League meetings in Phoenix and worked the same building for 4 straight days, and Rossini filed copy about vrabel within 24 hours of the meeting's ending. When a post
Definitely cracked. What?
reporter showed up at her door on Easter Sunday, she did not call her editor. She called a crisis communications expert. She then coordinated her public response with vrabel, the man she was photographed with, and the head coach she was actively covering. When The Athletic initially defended her, their own staff revolted. When The Athletic asked for evidence, text messages, trip screenshots, hike photos, Diana was not able to provide it. She argued the story was a sexist attack, and she offered to let her employer call vrabel to verify her story. But the company declined. She bypassed everyone in her chain of command and called the CEO.
The only way her saying that could have merit is if like the guys in the company were like, I don't know what a girl did pork that's like compromised though. You know what I'm saying? Are you good, bro? Like who would be compromised? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, if a reporter was to pork a NFL coach's wife, maybe that would I'm going down dark rabbit holes I don't really want to go down.
Entire New York Times company directly to plead her case. That didn't work either. The investigation launched and she resigned before it concluded, 10 weeks before her contract was set to expire anyway. And the craziest part is through all of this, the crisis communicator, the coordinated statements, going straight to the head of the New York Times, and the resignation, Mike vrabel has not spoken publicly about any of this. Not once. The Patriots have confirmed he is not under investigation. He skipped the pre-draft press conference. He's expected to speak publicly for the first time at the draft later on this week. One of these people lost their career over this, and the other one is going to be standing on a podium in Nashville in 2 weeks picking first-round talent. That's the story. All 4 parts of it.
I mean, you gotta look at the total poll. If Phil was a reporter, he probably would have got fired. If Phil's the shoes was flipped, they pay him too much. What the fuck was that? But I think my cat just did something downstairs he wasn't supposed to do. Alright. Y'all go check out Microphone. This was a great video. No cap. Deuces. I mess with y'all. Love.